All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the Chief Market Analyst here at Markets.com. And today is Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday, the 9th of October, 2025. Look, I wanted to do a little quick video on forex, basically. So just kind of give a little forex update, what's happening in the market, because everybody's focused on indices because those are hitting all-time highs. Everybody's focused on gold and silver because those are also rallying, and yep, kind of the forex world gets pushed a little bit to the side. So yeah, I'll pick up on that very quickly. Before I jump into that action, let me have a quick read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. So yes, we know that a few currencies are moving here and there. I think they're worth mentioning. Also, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. So now then, oh, by the way, also just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com webinar, one of my webinars, which is going to be on Zoom. It's a registration only webinar. Basically, it's going to be the third one in the series where I'm talking about the top indicators for traders. The first series was on MACD. The first episode was on MACD. The second one was on RSI, and I thought that I'm going to do on Bollinger Bands, basically, not only to give you like the theory here, but also to apply it in real life market action. Because, well, to be honest, that's the whole point. And we did that with the MACD and RSI. Now let's see how we can position ourselves, how we can play the game with the help of Bollinger Bands in real life market action and when placing trades. We're going to do that on a demo account. Certainly, just we want to see if it's working or not. So, but like I said, the trades are going to be real. The market action is going to be real. So, hey, tune in. You can find the description for this webinar in the, or should I say, the link for this webinar in the description of this video. There we go. That's a mouthful. Anyway, let's have a look at what's happening. First of all, of course, I want to pick up on DXY, the US dollar index, and so far we're seeing some positivity. There is a chance for DXY to push further north here, because again, look, we were in this nice little descending triangle pattern, and according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside, but we cleared the upper side of it. So look, this happens occasionally. The triangle, yes, although it could be bearish, or I should say, it's more bearish than bullish, but still, the opposite can happen occasionally, and this is one of those occasions. So that's why I always tell you to wait for the breakout. So we got the break through the downside line here, the upper side of that triangle, and we are currently above the 98.83 zone here. So as long as we stay above that, I'm going to continue targeting the upside, because in a way, I talked about this already. I talked about this in one of my videos here. I picked up on DXY yesterday, so you can check out the video. It's in the video section on our YouTube channel. And yeah, for now, I think that there is some room for a little bit of a retracement towards maybe the psychological 100 level. Still, overall, I'm bearish on DXY for now, because again, we know that we have the upcoming interest rate decisions. So those are not really in favor of the Fed interest rate decisions, and those are not really in favor of the US dollar. So look, first let's aim for the 23.6 here on the Fibonacci retracement. That's around 99.5. The next, like I said, the next target is the psychological 100 level. Now I do have the 101.55 here as a good target as well, the 38.2 percent here on the Fibonacci retracement, which is, by the way, drawn from the highest point of January of this year to the current lowest point of this year. But again, I think that let's not over kind of estimate things, and not let's not get too greedy, I would say, so let's go first for the 23.6, then we'll see what's happening. Maybe we'll overcome that, and maybe we'll go for that 100 zone, 100.2 zone, which coincides nicely here with the 200-day EMA shown as the white line on my daily chart. So yeah, keep your eyes on this. Like I said, it's of course, if we do continue to push higher here on DXY, this could affect other pairs. And speaking of other pairs, let me just jump into the kind of the main forex world here. AUD USD. Look, I talked about this one in my Markets Talk webinar, which is run from Monday on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what I said, look, I'm kind of a little bit neutral on AUD USD. Why? Because I really don't like this setup. I mean, look, it's kind of stuck in between two tentative trend lines. So in a way, we could say maybe we're getting a little bit of a squeeze here. But we're also at the same time, we're stuck here between these two little levels here. On the upside, the 0.6629 marked by the high of the highest point of October, the current highest point of October, and we're still above the 0.6520, which is basically the low of the 26th of September. So I need a clearance through one of these levels before I can start considering the next short-term directional move. But even then, there's a problem because we have these two trend lines. So let's see how this is going to play out. AUD NZD, beautiful rally here, beautiful move to the upside, and yeah, for now NZD is not the strongest one because again we understand why. The RBNZ came out this week with an interest rate cut, and I also talked about this situation with the RBNZ. You can check out the video right here. Basically, the expectation was for a 25 basis point cut, but I was saying in this video that look, maybe there could be a chance for a 50. So we got the 50. So yeah, you can check that out, and in a way that means that there could be some more weakness in the New Zealand dollar against some of its major counterparts, including its neighboring Australian dollar. So, but again, with the Australian dollar here, I'm targeting right now just the 1.1490 zone first, and then we'll take it from there. AUD JPY looking good here. So everything is still, it seems like, risk on, and we can see that by the stock market, which is kind of crazy rallying. And the technology is the sector that's kind of driving it right now. But certainly what comes up must come down eventually. So, but again, at the moment we're not seeing that. So we're waiting for that catalyst of some sort to kind of show us a little bit of a sign of a possible reversal, a little correction to the downside. Let's jump into Euro USD very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. So we broke a key area of support. I talked about this in one of my videos, the 1.1645 zone right here. And we cleared that. I said to you that my next target will be the 100-day EMA. At the moment, at this time, the 100-day EMA on my daily chart is around the 1.1574, but again, that could change. So for now, I'm just kind of targeting the downside here as long as we stay below the 1.1645. For me to shift my attention to some higher levels, I need to see a push up of the 1.1779. I do understand it's a big gap here, but you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. Also, if you're a little bit more adventurous, then you can keep an eye on this little short-term tentative downside resistance line, which in a way could be the gateway towards some higher levels. But again, there are some other obstacles on the way higher. There could be this the 20-day SMA here within the Bollinger Band. Yeah, so again, that's why I prefer this scenario instead. Another interesting euro pair, euro JPY. So we know that the Japanese yen right now is on the weaker side, because again we had the elections in Japan, and the person who won the Sakaya Tama something, I can't remember what's her, just a second, where maybe I'll find her very quickly. Yeah, cannot find her. Anyway, so the new female prime, Sanaya Takaichi. There we go. She won. She's the first female prime minister of Japan. Well, will be. and basically she's a little bit pro cutting. And we know that the Bank of Japan is expected to hike at the end of October. Again, will that happen? I don't know, but I think for now that might still be the case. We might see a 25 basis point hike, going from plus 0.5 to plus 0.75. But I mean, that could strengthen the Japanese yen, help strengthen the Japanese yen. But again, we'll see if maybe she will apply some sort of a little bit of pressure, saying that no, let's not do that. Let's keep the rate unchanged right now because I think it's too early to go and hike. So yeah. For now, long story short, looking at this picture here on the Euro JPY, would say there is still potential for some upside in a way. Look, I mean, looking at the monthly chart here, look at the levels here. So we cleared the 175.42, 43 zone right here. And in a way, there is still hope that this could travel higher. However, if by the end of this month, we see this monthly candle, the body of this monthly candle drifting back below the 175.42 zone right here, that to me is an indication for a possible reversal back down. Maybe we'll form something of a double top here with a possible neckline somewhere around here. But again, let's not rush into things. For now, there's, like I said, there is a chance for this one to drift further north, and we do have some interesting levels on the top side here. Like for example, the 188.22, which is basically the highest point of 1990, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know it's around 11 yen to go, but nevertheless, still an interesting option. One of the areas where we're currently stalling at, and that's the highest point of 1991. So that's roughly around 177.91. So we managed to reach that area, hit that zone here, and then now we're stalling. So again, keep your eyes on it. Like I said, we are at historic levels on Euro JPY. Is it the all-time high? No, we have the all-time high somewhere around here. At least that's the data that I have here from the 20th century. 285. I mean, that was the crisis here that we saw. It was basically the Gulf, the Iran-Iraq war, the oil crisis. So yeah, I mean, look at this. This is just insane. Anyway, and then it shifted, and then it drifted back down. But anyway, there is still hope for this one to go further north. But if suddenly, like I said, if it suddenly reverses at the end of the month, suddenly reverses back below the 175.42 zone here, I will consider a move lower. Euro NZD, another interesting pair. Like I said, the problem with the New Zealand dollar. But look, we had a good run, but we're now drifting back down. This is a monthly chart, by the way. On a daily, what I said to you previously was that if we continue to trade above this psychological 2 level, I'm going to continue targeting the upside. Now, it's not the strength of the New Zealand dollar that is kind of changing the the game here a little bit. It's more of a some weakness in the euro due to the current ongoing France France telenovela, and yes, in general, like I said, in general, for now, it's more of an issue with France than any other country. And okay, we'll see how it goes out in there. We have till until Friday. I think that Friday, at the end of Friday, is the new deadline when they will choose the new prime minister. So yeah, basically, for now, we're watching that carefully. Let's jump into GBP actually. GBP USD very quickly. GBP USD is also looking a little bit more weak, but what I said to you previously, that I need to see a drop below the 1.33 territory right here in order to shift my attention to some lower areas. Then I'll aim for the 200-day EMA, which, by the way, has been a good area of support recently, but if we somehow clear it, then it opens the door to some much lower areas, ladies and gentlemen, so keep that in mind. GBP JPY, similar story, good result here, again, good push, but we're seeing a little bit of weakness on the GBP side. So, but again, it's not, we're not excluding the upside still, because again, 208.11, I think that could be a good target here. That's the highest point of 2024. But for the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels on this one, well, ideally a drop back below the 201.26 zone right here. But I do understand that where we could be missing out on a little bit of territory. So what I will do here instead is, because I don't have any good areas of support, I will keep an eye on the Fibonacci retracement. Look at this. If we do somehow fall below the 23.6 here, which is roughly around the 203.5 zone, then yes, I will consider some lower areas. So that's going to be my little game plan here for, a little bit of a move to the downside. So let's see if that's going to play out. For the upside, certainly a clearance of the current highest point of October is needed in order to go higher. And USD, very quickly, USD CAD here. So we're watching this one very carefully. We do have a bit of data coming out from Canada. Yes, employment numbers from Canada coming out. Those at least are going to come out. We still don't know if we're going to get the NFPs, but we're keeping an eye on that one. But at the moment, the pair is stuck. Even the shifts in oil are not really helping here much. For the helping the Canadian dollar much. So look, I prefer to wait for a push above the psychological 140 zone. 140.16 actually a good target here to keep an eye on in order to go for some higher levels. But certainly, I think that there is a chance of testing the psychological 1.40 zone, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But just be very careful, cautious. For me to shift my attention to some lower levels, a drop below the 200-day EMA is required. USD JPY. Now this one's interesting because we're getting a hold up near this upper side of the, well, potential rising wedge pattern, which maybe looks like more of like channel, but actually it's a wedge because we're having a little bit of a narrowing moment in there. So we're getting a hold up here, and the questions for me right now is this going to be enough to hold it? If it is, then I will consider a little bit of a retracement back down, to be honest. So let's keep an eye on this one. And yeah, let's see, because again, there are some interesting developments happening here. USD CHF, look, the US dollar index is kind of retracing right now, but look at this very beautiful moment here. USD CHF pushed higher, and it pushed above the 0.8014. So we're now back below this hurdle, and this is interesting. We pushed higher today, and now we're struggling. Now we're struggling to remain above this 0.8014. So, but look, don't get me wrong, I'm not really giving up on this one yet. I want to see how the day is going to end, because at the moment, anything can happen. We could see like these falls kind of moves to the downside. Maybe it's just maybe buyers are regrouping here. So like I said, I'm not going to rush into conclusions yet, but if we somehow struggle to remain below or above the 0.8014, that could maybe send that signal that there is a possibility for a retracement on DXY and on the US dollar index. So let's keep an eye on that one. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think. Again, this was just a quick little forex update I wanted to do with you. Today's, like I said, Thursday, the 9th of October 2025. So I hope you found it useful. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And I shall see you in my next little video update. Bye for now.